On my wedding day, my husband jumped into the lake to save another woman. The guests looked at me as if they were watching a joke. I stood by the wedding candies for 3 hours. The red candles burned down to just a stub. My father arrived. He didn't look at anyone, just lifted my bridal veil.
Come home with me, child.
The bridal procession returned 10 miles, and that night, the general returned soaked. He stood frozen in the empty room. It was said he knelt outside the Grand Tutor's residence all night, his knees worn raw. My father only had one message delivered.
If you want to marry my daughter, try again in your next life.
Red candles burned low, and bamboo sticks piled up. My bridal veil was heavy, the gold-embroidered phoenix pressing down, making my neck ache. The wedding candies tasted of mockery and silence. I heard guests whispering in hushed tones, like buzzing mosquitoes.
3 hours later, the general is not back. I can't even have my own wedding.
I've given up on my own wedding.
The reputation of the Grand Tutor's residence is now ruined.
It's more than just reputation. Look at that 10-mile-long bridal procession, stretching all the way from the southern gate to the northern platform.
And now, look what's happened. The groom has run away.
I stood there motionless, my body already numb. Today was supposed to be the joyous day for Liu Xiao and me. An hour ago, we were just about to perform the 3 bows and 9 kowtows. Heaven.
Miss Liu, she fell into the 7-star lake behind the residence!
There was Ruyan, his childhood sweetheart and distant cousin who was raised in the general's residence. She was always dressed in white, spoke softly, and looked as if a gust of wind could knock her over. But just before Liu Xiao rushed out, I clearly saw him through the gap in my bridal veil. Then he turned and walked toward the backyard, and soon after, news came that he had fallen into the water. The guests in the wedding hall went from initial shock to whispering among themselves, and now to openly watching the spectacle. Liu Xiao's mother, my soon-to-be mother-in-law, finally couldn't sit still any longer.
Yanhuan, you are also a well-bred young lady. You should understand these things. Ruyan is frail, and it was only because she rushed here to attend your wedding that this happened. It's only right that Liu Xiao went to save her. Standing here like this, you're just making yourself a laughingstock.
It feels like there's a burning lump of coal stuck in my throat. I can't get a single word out. Be understanding? On my own wedding day, my husband leaves me behind to save another woman. I'm supposed to be understanding, watching him risk everything for someone else, while I sit here like a fool under this ridiculous bridal veil, enduring everyone's judgment and ridicule. I'm supposed to be understanding.
Why haven't you lifted your veil? Waiting for Liu Xiao to do it? Don't act superior as the tutor's daughter. In this general's house, you follow our rules.
My father taught me etiquette and discipline since I was a child. I've spent 18 years learning all the rules. But on the day of my wedding, all my dignity was torn to shreds in the most humiliating way. The candles burned lower, and half the guests in the wedding hall had already left. The people who remained were only there to wait for the final outcome, to watch a more complete joke. Liu Xiao's mother had already gone back to the inner hall to rest, but before leaving, she threw out a remark, truly senseless. In this grand wedding hall, only I and those dowries, worth a fortune yet now unbearably ironic, were left. Just as I felt I could barely hold on any longer. Just as I felt my body was about to fall apart, a commotion arose at the door. Someone walked in against the light. His face, stern and commanding even without anger, showed no expression. It was my father, Ji Hong, the Grand Tutor of the current dynasty. From the moment he entered, his gaze was fixed on me, and everyone held their breath. Everyone wanted to see how the Grand Tutor would handle the situation. Would he scold his daughter for being unruly, or would he humble himself to plead for a satisfactory resolution for the general's manner? My father said nothing. He simply raised his hand and gently lifted my red bridal veil. The moment the veil fell, the tears I had been holding back for hours finally rolled down uncontrollably. I saw my father's eyes. In those eyes, which had read countless memorials and seen through the ways of the world, there was no blame, no disappointment, only overwhelming heartache.
Girl, come home with Dad.
She didn't say anything more, just turned around and gave a second order to the Ji family guards she had brought with her.
Not a single piece of the young lady's dowry is to be left behind. Take it all back.
The guards began to move, carrying out the redwood chests adorned with the character for happiness, one by one. The guests were all stunned.
This isn't wrapping things up.
This is clearly making a scene.
Returning the entire dowry untouched is a public humiliation, declaring the Ji daughter won't marry. I followed my father out, and stepping out the doors, my back straightened again. The wind dried my tears and blew away my last bit of hope for Liu Xiao. From the north of the city to the south, that long trail of red was like a bleeding wound, etched into the dusk of the capital. By the time we returned to the Grand Preceptor's residence, night had fully fallen. The servants stood silently on either side, not daring to make a sound. My father dismissed everyone, and personally helped me back to my boudoir. Everything in the room was just as it had been before I left to get married. My unfinished scriptures still lay on the desk. It was as if that grand wedding, which had shocked the entire city, was nothing but a ridiculous dream. My father poured me a cup of hot tea and watched as I sipped it slowly, one small mouthful at a time.
You don't need to take what happened today to heart. None of this was your fault.
Holding the warm teacup, I shook my head. Father, I did nothing wrong, but I've become the laughingstock of the entire capital.
Who would dare to laugh? I'll make sure they never laugh again. My daughter, Ji Hong's daughter, even if she never marries, she'll always have someone to protect her. No one can bully her.
But the Liu family is the leading military clan, holding military power. For us,
Military power. Military power is granted by His Majesty, not something that belongs to the Liu family. If he can abandon you at your wedding for another woman, then tomorrow he could just as easily abandon the Emperor for something else. Can His Majesty really feel at ease using someone like that?
In that instant, I understood what father meant. This matter was no longer just about the reputation of two families. He had already become a chess piece, a piece that could be placed on the grand chessboard of the imperial court. That night, I took off my heavy wedding dress, changed into my regular clothes, and spent a silent night. Early the next morning, the news had spread throughout the entire residence.
Excuse me, miss.
My personal maid Xiao rushed in hurriedly.
General Liu is at our residence, kneeling outside the gate.
Combing my hair, my hand stopped.
He rushed back last night, panicked to find you and the dowry gone. The old general was so furious, he had him beaten with dozens of rods. Despite his injuries, he ran straight here.
At the gate! He's been kneeling there since the second half of the night until now.
He's knelt all night until his knees are raw. It's laughable. Why do it if he knew this would happen? Does he think this suffering erases my humiliation or softens my father's heart? He understands neither my father nor me. Having died once and come back, I knew it. Sure enough, my father didn't react at all the entire morning. He went to court as usual, and after returning, he just handled official business in his study, as if the person kneeling outside the residence didn't exist at all. It wasn't until the afternoon that the steward hurriedly came to report.
Master, a palace messenger is here. The king requests that you and General Liu join him for an audience.
Go and deliver a message to General Liu. If he wants to marry my daughter, he'll have to wait for his next life.
The carriage heading to the palace rumbled dully over the bluestone road. Today's summons from His Majesty was definitely not just a simple family mediation. I didn't go. Father wouldn't let me go.
The Ji daughter was wronged. She shouldn't enter the palace bowed for judgment. Liu Xiao must come grandly, proposing marriage with full traditional honors.
Reports say the air in the imperial study that day was freezing. His Majesty looked down from the throne at his top civil official and trusted general kneeling before him. These two pillars of the state had now become mortal enemies over a marriage.
Your Majesty, if there is any fault, it is all mine. I was momentarily confused and made a mistake. I have let down Yanhuan, and also betrayed the trust of the Grand Tutor. I am willing to accept any punishment. I only ask that Your Majesty and the Grand Tutor give me another chance to make up for my mistakes.
He humbled himself completely, taking all the blame upon his own shoulders. It sounded as if he was taking responsibility, but this sense of responsibility came far too late. From beginning to end, neither my father nor Ji Hong spared him even the slightest glance out of the corner of their eyes.
Sigh, Minister Liu, you truly were muddle-headed. Marriage is a serious matter, not something to be taken lightly. You let the Grand Tutor's daughter cry in her wedding dress for 3 hours, turning both her and the Grand Tutor's household into a laughingstock throughout the capital. You handled this matter very poorly.
Minister Ji, I know you're upset. Your daughter is the apple of your eye. Anyone would find it unbearable to suffer such humiliation.
However, Liu Xiao has rendered outstanding military service to our dynasty, and the peace of the capital still depends greatly on him. If your two families become enemies because of this, it would not be good for the court.
Others might have simply compromised, but my father is Ji Hong. He looked directly at the emperor on the throne.
Your Majesty, I have but one daughter. I raised her to be educated and dutiful. I thought I found her a worthy husband and a secure future, but it was all a cruel farce. This man, on the most important day of his life, cast her aside like an old shoe for the sake of another woman. Your Majesty says that the affairs of the court take precedence. But I dare to ask Your Majesty, if a man can so easily break the vow he made to his wife at their wedding, how can you trust that he will keep his promises to his sovereign and his country? Today, for his own selfish desires, he abandoned his bride at the altar. In the future, who's to say he won't abandon the city and the people he is supposed to protect for some other reason?
Immediately, the imperial study froze. My father had escalated Liu Xiao's character into a challenge of his loyalty and competence. This was no longer a family matter, it threatened the nation's foundation. Liu Xiao looked up, his face deathly pale. His lips trembled, but he couldn't offer a rebuttal. My father's piercing accusation was irrefutable. The king's expression turned grim. He looked deeply at my father, and eventually, he spoke slowly.
Minister Ji, I understand what you mean. Liu Xiao, you may withdraw for now. Go back and think carefully. How can you earn the forgiveness of the Grand Tutor and Miss Ji? I will no longer interfere in this matter.
When my father returned from the palace, it was already getting dark. He told me everything that had happened in the imperial study, without hiding a single detail. At the end, he looked at me and asked seriously,
Yanhuan, today your father spoke harshly in front of His Majesty and cut off all possibilities between you and Liu Xiao. Do you blame me for that?
Father, you did the right thing. I've thought it through. Marriage is not the only path for a woman. Since this road is blocked, then I simply won't take it.
My father's eyes reddened. Since that palace confrontation, the broken engagement between our families has become a taboo topic in the capital. Knowing they were wrong, the general's residence stayed behind closed doors. From then on, Liu Xiao vanished. I heard the old general put him under house arrest to reflect on his actions. The bluestone pavement outside our gates finally returned to its former tranquility, and my life seemed to get back on track as well. Every morning I would have breakfast with my father, then go to the study to help him grind ink and organize the towering stacks of memorials and official documents. I read quickly and learned just as fast. My father never avoided discussing state affairs in front of me. He would even, intentionally or not, offer me a few pointers. It seemed he was truly grooming me as someone who could inherit his mantle. Rather than as a daughter raised in the inner chambers, life like this was peaceful and fulfilling. That afternoon, I was sorting through the old dowry lists. Those items that once carried all my beautiful dreams now appeared to me as nothing more than cold, emotionless entries in an account book. Xiao came in from outside, her expression a bit odd.
Miss, there are some rumors about you outside. They say I'm jealous, or that I rely on my father's power and show no regard for the general's manner. It's nothing but these things. Miss, how did you know? Of course I know. The general's manor suffered such a big loss, and Liu Xiao's mother is such a protective and harsh person. If they didn't stir up some trouble behind my back...
If they didn't play some tricks, that would be strange. Over the past half-month, I've had Xiao quietly gather quite a bit of information about the general's manor. I know that Liu Xiao has been put under house arrest, but that pitiful, innocent-looking bai Yanhuan, Liu Ruyan, was taken into Liu Xiao's mother's own courtyard and personally cared for. Outwardly, they claim, she adopted that girl. How ridiculous. A woman who ruined her son's marriage and shamed her family is now some noble figure. This isn't about adoption. It's a clear threat to me and the Grand Tutor's house.
They say that even before you married into the family, you couldn't tolerate Miss Liu, that you made things difficult for her many times. They even claim that on the day of the wedding, you deliberately provoked her with your words, which is why Miss Liu panicked and accidentally fell into the water. This is completely turning the truth upside down, miss. We can't just let them ruin your reputation like this. Don't worry. Let them say whatever they want. The more vicious their words are now, the more painful it will be for them when the truth comes out.
My gaze fell on a certain page of the account book, where it recorded a set of exquisite, priceless 12-flower immortals teaware, personally crafted by a renowned family from the previous dynasty. I remember Liu Xiao once mentioned in passing that Liu Ruyan loved white porcelain the most.
Xiao, go to the storeroom and bring out that set of 12-flower immortals teaware. What do you want that for? I want to sell it. Sell it off. Miss, this is a beloved item your mother left you. How can you sell it? It's just an object. No matter how cherished, it's not as important as a living person's reputation. Besides, I'm not just selling it casually. I want to host a treasure appreciation gathering and invite all the prominent ladies and young misses in the capital. I want everyone to know that I, Yanhuan, am currently a bit short on money. This news will spread to every corner of the capital, that I even have to sell my mother's keepsakes. This is just the first step.
Miss, do you mean you want everyone to know that our household brought back all the dowry, but lost so much of the betrothal gifts, so now we can't make ends meet?
Not just that. People side with the weak. When someone who suffered such injustice is selling her mother's things for dignity, whose truth will they believe?
What I want to do is not just gain sympathy. I want to use this appreciation gathering to put Liu Ruyan and the General's mansion under the spotlight. I want to see if, when this tea set he's always dreamed of appears at the event, he'll be tempted. Will he have Liu Xiao come and buy it? If he's not tempted, then it just proves that all his previous affection was just an act. But if he is tempted and has Liu Xiao buy it, that's even better. A man who just abandoned his fiancée turns around and spends a fortune right away. Buying his former fiancée's mother's keepsake for another woman, now that's a drama far more exciting than mere rumors and gossip. Inside the General's mansion, the atmosphere was as tense as the sea before a storm. The old General Liu Zhen sat in the main seat in full military uniform, his face ashen. Kneeling on the floor before him was Liu Xiao, dressed in everyday clothes that could not conceal the scars all over his body.
You unfilial son, I told you to reflect on your actions behind closed doors. Just what have you been thinking about?
Father?
I know I was wrong.
You know you were wrong, huh?
I think you have no idea what you did wrong at all. Was your mistake saving someone? No, your mistake was being foolish, not knowing the right time and place, not understanding priorities. During your wedding ceremony, in front of all the guests in the city, you abandoned your bride. The face you lost was not only Jihong's, but also the reputation our Liu family has built over generations.
Jihong's words to the emperor threatened the very lifeblood of all generals. Historically, emperors have most feared powerful commanders who act independently and disobey orders. Liu Xiao's actions precisely confirmed this kind of uncontrollability.
The fact that His Majesty did not strip you of your military command on the spot is already out of consideration for your past merits and the loyalty and sacrifice of our entire Liu family. But what about you? What have you and your foolish mother done?
Uncle, please don't be angry at Brother Xiao. It's all Ruyan's fault. It's just my bad luck. If only I hadn't fallen into the water at that time, I wouldn't have brought so much trouble to Brother Xiao and the General's manor.
His face was pale and eyes red, on the verge of collapse. When Madame Liu saw her son kneeling, her heart broke.
Master, what are you doing? Our son is still injured. What was wrong with him saving someone? Should we have just stood by and watched Ruyan drown? The one I misjudged was Yanhuan. Yanhuan is narrow-minded and makes a fuss over nothing. Was it really such a big deal to wait a little longer? Yet she made such a scene, broke off the engagement and returned home, and even had her own father complain to His Majesty, causing our Xiao heir to be beaten black and blue by you.
What do you know? That's just a woman's opinion. Long hair, short insight.
Well, I am giving a woman's opinion. Ruyan is such a good child. She's gentle, sensible, well-educated, and well-mannered. Unlike that Yanhuan, who is spoiled, arrogant, and bullies others with her status. Xiao, listen to your mother. A woman like that isn't worth having. Once the gossip dies down, I'll make the decision for you to marry Ruyan into our family.
Mother, I'm asking you to please stop.
Liu Xiao cut her off, his face darkening, while Liu Ruyan's eyes glimmered with secret delight upon hearing this.
Uncle, Aunt, I beg you, please don't argue over me anymore. Shuyan is an ill-omened person. She only brings disaster to those around her. Brother Xiao, you should hurry and bring Sister Yanhuan back. As long as you two can reconcile, Shuyan is willing to leave the capital immediately and devote herself to the ancient Buddha, ending this troubled life.
These words, retreating in order to advance, combined with such a pitiful appearance, instantly struck the softest part of Liu Xiao's heart. He hurried forward to help her up, his eyes full of pain and guilt.
What nonsense are you talking about? Your health is so fragile. If you leave the general's mansion, where could you possibly go? How could I let you live a life like that?
He looked at the frail woman in his arms, then glanced at his aggressive mother and furious father nearby, feeling utterly exhausted. He knew he had wronged Yanhuan, but seeing Liu Ruyan like this, he simply couldn't harden his heart. He felt trapped in the middle, burdened by responsibilities he couldn't set down on either side. Old General Liu Zhen watched the scene before him, feeling as if a mouthful of old blood was stuck in his chest. He finally understood. His son had been completely taken in by this woman named Liu Ruyan. He slumped back into his chair, closed his eyes, and felt irritated, even looking at them for another moment.
Just forget about it, forget it. I won't interfere with this anymore. You can handle your own mess from now on.
Just don't forget, Jihong is not someone to be trifled with, and her daughter is no pushover either. The seeds you sow today will inevitably bear fruit in the future, fruit you may not be able to bear.
With that, she stood up, flicked her sleeves, and left, leaving behind all the absurdity and chaos of this life. Madame Liu watched her husband's departing figure with a look of disdain, then turned to gently take Liu Ruyan's hand and comfort her in a soft voice.
Good child, don't be afraid. With me here, no one, not even Yanhuan, can bully you. Right now, she's just putting on a show. I'd like to see how a woman who's been rejected by her husband's family can possibly make a place for herself in the capital in the future.
News of the Grand Tutor's Rare Treasures Appreciation Gathering electrified the capital's noblewomen. The pale blue, elegant invitation listed the treasures in delicate calligraphy, titled Old Objects in the Garden, and signed by Yanhuan. It was simple and direct. Yet it carried an air of exclusive prestige. These invitations went only to top-tier officials in the capital, and a few illustrious imperial merchant families. Everyone invited was clearly an influential figure in the capital's social scene. For a time, rumors and speculation spread quickly.
Did you hear? The Grand Tutor's daughter is selling her dowry. Even her mother's antiques are for sale. Why? The family is wealthy. How did it come to this? You don't know? The general broke the engagement. Angry, the Grand Tutor had the dowry and all Liu family gifts returned. There was much gold and land involved. They saved face, but now cash is tight. Poor Miss G. A promising girl, ruined by General Liu, and that Liu girl.
Whether these words were true or false, spoken out of sympathy, or just for the spectacle, every single one reached my ears. I simply smiled faintly, and continued to place that set of 12 flower goddesses teaware in the most prominent spot on the list of items for sale. Public opinion was a fire I had ignited myself, and now it was burning ever more fiercely, just as I had anticipated. What I wanted was precisely this sense of pity. Only by keeping my stance low enough and appearing weak enough could I ensure that everyone would direct their criticism at the lofty General's manor. And at this very moment, the General's manor had indeed received this news.
Aunt, rumors say Yanhuan is spiting you and cousin Xiao. She returned the betrothal gifts and is so broke she's selling her dowry and her mother's keepsakes. She specifically wants to sell a white porcelain set called the 12 Flower Goddesses of the Months, a treasured heirloom from her mother. I'm telling you, she's just putting on a show. A woman who's been rejected and lost her husband's family as support. No matter how powerful her father is as Grand Tutor, he can't protect her forever. Now she finally knows what it feels like to be broke. Serves her right.
He was gloating, completely unaware that Liu Ruyan, who was massaging his legs beside him, reacted when she heard the words, 12 Flower Goddesses of the Months. Her body suddenly stiffened, and a blazing light instantly flashed in her eyes. He had seen that tea set on Yanhua's dowry list before, described as pure white like jade, thin as a cicada's wing, with sword-like shadows under the light, and each cup painted with a lifelike flower goddess of the month. It was a masterpiece by a porcelain master from the previous dynasty, a priceless treasure that couldn't be bought even with money. He had dreamed of owning it. This wasn't just because of its beauty and rarity, but also because it once belonged to Yanhua as a keepsake from his mother. If he could have Liu Xiao personally buy it and then deliver it to him, it would be the ultimate humiliation and victory over Yanhua. For the rest of that day, Liu Ruyan seemed restless and distracted. That evening, when Liu Xiao came to see him, he was sitting by the window, shedding tears in the light of a solitary lamp. Shuyan. What's wrong with you? These days he had been confined at home, tormented inside, and only here with Liu Ruyan could he find a moment of peace. Liu Ruyan turned around, her eyes brimming with tears as she looked at her.
I'm fine, Brother Xiao. It's just that I heard some rumors from outside, and I feel sad for Sister Yanhuan. I heard that Sister Yanhuan is going to sell her mother's belongings. Among them is a set of white porcelain teaware that she cherished the most. I remember you once said, Brother Xiao, that this tea set is a peerless treasure. Sister Yanhuan must be really short of money to do this. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't have... Her words were like needles, one after another, piercing into Liu Xiao's heart.
Of course he knew about that tea set. He still remembered when he first saw that dowry list. He even smiled and said to Yanhua that Ruyan loved white porcelain the most. He said that when he saw this tea set in the future, he would definitely be envious. How did Yanhua respond with a laugh back then?
This is a keepsake my mother left for me.
I will treasure it for a lifetime, cherish it for a lifetime.
But now, he has to sell it.
Liu Xiao's heart felt as if it were being gripped tightly by an invisible hand, the pain making it hard to breathe. He knew that Yanhua was doing this just to show him. Seeing her face turn pale, Liu Ruyan knew the time had come. She gently tugged at Liu Xiao's sleeve, her voice tinged with a hint of pleading and longing.
Brother Xiao, I just think... It would be such a shame if such a genuine treasure ended up in the hands of a merchant who doesn't appreciate it. It's so beautiful. It deserves to be cherished by someone who truly understands it.
She didn't say it outright, but every word was a subtle hint. Looking at her face, filled with longing, Liu Xiao was torn by an inner struggle. He knew this was a trap set by Yanhua, a situation designed to force him to make a choice in front of the entire capital. If he went, it would be self-humiliation. If he didn't, he wouldn't be able to face Liu Ruyan's tearful eyes. In the end, as if making up his mind, he closed his eyes in exhaustion. He nodded.
I understand. I will attend the appreciation gathering that day.
The gathering took place in the Grand Preceptor's West Flower Hall. Unlike the Grand Main Hall, this venue was elegant, near a refined Suzhou-style garden. The hall was simply furnished with antiques, and dragon's saliva incense burned in the corners. I wore a moon-white dress and a magnolia hairpin. Light makeup made my skin fairer and features more striking. Avoiding the seat of honor, I hosted by personally serving Junshin silver needle tea to the ladies I knew. My demeanor remained calm, with a gentle smile. But this composure, in the eyes of everyone else, became a kind of heartbreaking strength.
The young lady of the Grand Tutor's family has become even more calm and reserved. After going through such things, she remains unflustered. If it were anyone else, they would have wasted away in their boudoir long ago. Look at how much weight she's lost, and how pale she looks. It really makes one feel sorry for her. That General Liu must really be blind.
Listening to these hushed discussions, I felt nothing at all. I walked to the center of the hall, where today's items for sale were elegantly displayed on fine rosewood stands. There were famous paintings and calligraphy from the previous dynasty, whole jade carvings bestowed by the emperor, and several pieces of jewelry and ornaments that my mother had carefully collected in her day. Each item was of great value, and each drew exclamations of admiration. But in the end, everyone's gaze would inevitably be drawn to the tea set placed at the very center. It was placed alone on a tray lined with black velvet.
Is this the legendary 12-flower Immortals teacup set? It truly is a rare treasure. Is Miss G really willing to part with such a precious item?
I walked up to the tray and gently stroked the cool rim of the cup. My voice was soft, yet loud enough for everyone present to hear.
My mother once said at the market, "The beauty of objects lies in their passage from hand to hand. If they can find a new owner who truly knows how to appreciate and cherish them, that would fulfill their journey." Today, I have invited all you ladies and young misses here, in hopes of finding a kindred spirit for these old treasures. My words sounded elegant.
My demeanor was impeccable, upholding the dignity of an old family while also confirming the rumors of my current financial difficulties. The ladies present all nodded, and there was a bit more approval and sympathy in their eyes as they looked at me. Just as the atmosphere in the flower hall reached a subtle harmony, a servant at the door suddenly announced in a loud voice, "General Liu from the General's mansion has arrived." In an instant, all the chatter and whispers in the hall seemed to be put on pause. Everyone's eyes turned toward the entrance in unison. There stood Liu Xiao, dressed in a dark everyday robe, his posture upright, yet unable to hide the traces of travel and fatigue all over him. His gaze swept past all the astonished faces and landed directly on me. I met his eyes without flinching. My heart was as calm as a dead pool of water. After a brief moment of stunned silence, the guests began to cover their mouths with their fans, breaking out into even more fervent whispers.
Why is he here?
He still has the nerve to show up. Judging by his look, he must be here to ask for Miss G's forgiveness.
Amidst the murmurs, I slowly stepped forward, stopping 3 paces away from him, and gave a standard curtsy with a slight bend of my knees.
I wonder what brings General Liu here to visit us today.
Liu Xiao's Adam's apple bobbed, as if 1,000 words were stuck in his throat. But he couldn't utter a single word. Without waiting for his reply, I turned and instructed the butler beside me.
A guest is a guest, and since he is a guest, there is no reason to send him away. Go and bring General Liu a seat and a cup of tea.
My words left everyone stunned. My father's butler, Jibo, furrowed his brows even more deeply.
Miss.
Go and bring General Liu a seat and a cup of tea.
Yes.
Our Grand Tutor's residence is open for business. We have no custom of turning guests away at the door.
The words business and guest were like 2 resounding slaps, landing hard on Liu Xiao's face. His complexion instantly turned even paler than paper. Jibo glanced at my resolute expression, then looked at Liu Xiao by the door, whose face was ashen, like a man with no hope left. In the end, he sighed, waved his hand, and had a servant bring over a chair, placing it at the lowest, most insignificant spot. Under everyone's gaze, Liu Xiao stiffly sat down in that seat, which symbolized humiliation. He looked like an unwelcome guest who had arrived late and uninvited, sitting there all alone, enduring the crowd's looks, some sympathetic, some contemptuous, and some gloating, like a slow